Good morning, my crazy crafting buddies. This is Sunny at Creative Therapy coming at you again. And I am working on my next project for the Country Craft Creations design team. And if you watched my haul video not long ago, you know that I got these wonderful PhotoPlay papers. I think the line is called Slightly Sassy, and I want to start and do my first project using that. So as you can see, what I've done is I've taken the two different sheets that had the cut aparts on them. Step one for me in this one was to find my favorite elements and then start planning on how I can put them together and get the most out of the pieces that I like. So what I decided to do was make a folio. Now, I've made a couple folios before following other people's patterns. I've never created or designed one myself, so this is definitely a work in progress. So here's what I have so far. I kind of design as I go to see where I need to put things. So this is going to be taped in segments because I really can't design the next piece until I put the first piece together. So with all of that said, let me start with, I decided I want this on the cover. So I took my X-Acto knife and I cut around this. It says Domestic Superstar. So I thought this would be perfect to put on a cover and then put a picture of the woman in mind, the domestic superstar or the domestic goddess, right here under that. So I found the paper that I wanted for the cover because I want that to get on. I have no idea what else I'm going to do. I just know that this is my jumping off spot for my front cover. So I'm going to put these aside so I don't accidentally use them somewhere else and then I won't have them. Alright, so first I had to decide what size I wanted my folio. And I really don't know, but for whatever reason I decided to go with 7 by 9. I needed at least 7 wide because I want to get these couple of 4 by 6s in there. And I just thought 9 made that proportionate. I was going to do 6 by 8. No, I want some room on the side. Whatever. That's what I ended up with. So, to start this out, you probably cannot read my writing, so I'm going to read it to you. Here's what I've come up with so far. We are going to do a 7 by 9. Okay? That was question mark because I wasn't sure. And then all I've done so far is cut basically our cover, so I'm jotting things down as I go and kind of making a mess of it. But I'm doing my best, y'all. That's what counts, right? Alright. So, number 1, we have one piece cut at 9 by 12. Alright? Here's that piece, 9 by 12. Then I have scored it at 7 inches, 7 1/4, 7 1/2, 7 3/4, and 8. Alright, so basically every 1/4 inch from 7 to 8. This is going to be our back cover. This is going to be the side coming up to the right hand flap. Alright, so that's kind of, I have already folded all my score lines. Alright, to make sure that's going to give me dimensions that I want. Alright, so that's what I want for the base in the back. The next thing I've cut is one at 9.5, or excuse me, one piece at 9 by 8.5. This piece is then going to attach to the back flap. Oh, you know what? I'm lying to you. This was the first one. This is the 9 by 12. So sorry. All right. 9 by 12. It's scored in the same place, by the way. 7, 7 1/4, 7 1/2, 7 3/4, and 8. All right. So that comes around to be the first flap. What I was showing you was the other side, which is the one that is 9 by 8.5. So I probably have you thoroughly confused. Just note, the length of our folio is 9. Okay? The width of it is 7. So I started with 12 to get as much wraparound as I could for the front flap. Alright, so that's what that's about. That's the 12 inch. Again, scored every 1/4 inch from 7 to 8. That's going to be our flap. Then we cut the 9 by 8.5, so that gives us the 7 inches across the top, which is the same as what's going to be our base, our 7 by 9. it gives us the inch coming up the side, and it gives us a 1/2 inch for attachment. All right, so 9 by 8.5, scored at 7, 7 1/4, 7 1/2, 7 3/4, and 8. Okay, whew, man, already messing y'all up. So that's how that goes. But that's not all. I then cut a piece that is, I'm going to move this out of the way. You can't read it probably anyway. So this is 4.5 wide by 10 inches long. I have scored it at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. Your 2 short sides and 1 long side. That is going to attach to this inside flap. Okay? I've mitered the corners, but I haven't folded it back yet, and you'll see why in just a second. All right. So then, for our back piece, I cut one at 6 7/8, not 7 full inches. Again, you'll see why here shortly. But we've got 6 7/8, again by 10. On this one, all we need to do is score along the 10-inch side at a 1/2 inch on each end. So that means you score it at a 1/2 and at 9 1/2. Okay, that one's going to go there. For the inside of the front flap, we have cut one 7 by 10. Okay, so go ahead and do this one a full 7 inches by 10, and again we score that at 1/2 and 9 1/2. All right, now I'm going to show you why I haven't put these together. I was going to put them together with you, but before we put them on, we're going to alter them slightly. For this, you are going to need a punch board. Okay, an envelope punch board. If you do not have one, you have to find a way to notch these edges. I think you can, there's some little punches that will do it. You could always just take an X-Acto knife and cut in like 1/2 inch, but I'm going to use my punch board, my envelope punch board, and of course I did not think to put it on my desk before I turned on the camera, so I'm going to grab that now. Voila, just like magic, punch board appears. Okay, so let's start with our piece that's 4.5 inches by 10 inches. I want you to punch on the side that is not scored. All right, see that edge? See how this one is scored? Not this edge, this edge. And this is why I haven't folded my ends back yet, because I'm going to measure from the end, you know, including that part. So I want you to line it up at 1 1/2, okay, and punch. Then flip it over, line it up again at 1 1/2, and punch. Now, this is where an X-Acto knife is very, very useful. And a ruler. There's my ruler right there. So what you're going to do is you're going to line up a ruler that has a metal edge, preferably, at the very bottom of those dips. Now, the other way to do this, if you don't have an X-Acto blade, is to put the ruler right here, draw a line, and then use your scissor and cut from one to the other. But I want you to remove that center piece so that you have that. Okay, so you have a little recessed area, and I'm guessing that's about 3/8 of an inch. It looks like more than 1/4. It looks like less than 1/2. Boom. Yeah, 3/8 of an inch. If you don't have a punch and you just have to cut in about 3/8 of an inch. You can go further if you want. It's not crucial to the design. Just somewhere in that area. All right, now we're going to do this again for our other two pieces. So I think this is my 7-inch. Yeah, there's my 7-inch. And on this one, it doesn't really matter either side, okay? because neither one are scored. All right, both are open. So we're going to do the same. We're going to do a 1/2 inch, and then along the same edge, flip it over 1/2 inch, or 1.5, sorry, 1.5, and do it again. All right, and let's just go ahead and get the one that's 6 7/8 by 10 inches and do it as well. Again, which side does not matter at this point. So there's that one punched, and now we're going to move that out of the way, and we're going to find the ruler with the edge on it like I want, and I keep getting my papers dirty. My mat needs to be cleaned. Dang it. Don't you just hate sloppy crafters? Jeez. All right, so again, at the very dip, I always line those up a little off. All right, there we go. Almost got carried away and cut into the next part. Make sure you don't do that. That would be very bad. All right, and our last one. And obviously, you know, these are going to be making pockets. That's what I'm up to. So, there we are. All right, now that we have those cut out, we can go ahead and fold back on our score lines, burnish down, and do the other side, and burnish it down on our short one. Ooh, that wasn't a very good fold. Alright, like I said, I already mitered the corners, and what that means is where these two lines intersect, just cross right through the X. If you haven't done that before, that's what I'm talking about. Alright, so there's that. There's that. One more. Sis boom ba, we are finished with that part. Now you're going to want to grab your score tape, or I guess you could. I don't like to use wet glue on pockets because I'm afraid I'm going to make a mess and it's going to squish out and then it's going to close my pocket. So I use my score tape just because I know that I'm a mess. It's quick, it's easy, and I don't glue my pockets together. And there is a reason that I'm not adhering the other end of the pockets at this time, because I have a plan. Yeah, we'll see how that goes, won't we? Ooh, yeah. Plans are just a starting spot for me. It may or may not be where I end up. But the plan is to put some additional, like, folding pages in there, so I want to leave it open for now. If I decide not to put them there, I can always close it, but pretty sure that's what I'm going to do. As a matter of fact, I want to play with it before I even stick them down, because I'm thinking of adding a page in one of the ends. Yeah, in one of those. Alright, so alright, there's a reason. There we go. Getting it backwards again. Gotta make sure I know where I'm at. Alright, so this is our back, because the 6 7/8 definitely needs to go on the back. Yeah, so I'm going to line it up even with this score line, the first score line, the one that was at 7 inches on the right hand side. I want there to be a little bit of a gap over here because I want to put in a page, and I just want to have clearance so that it so that it can fold over. Can't get it out. All right. Now my question to myself at this point is, should I adhere this first? And I believe my answer is yes. So, now since I'm going to go ahead and use wet glue here, because I may need to move it around or something, and I can make sure if there any glue smushes out, I can make sure it's all wiped off before I put my next piece on, so I know I won't be gluing my, why am I using this when I've got some glitter glue left? Got that good art glitter glue, and I just grabbed this because I saw it. Dang it. I'll get the right one next time. There we go. It's almost all gone. I've got to order some more from Miss Tammy over at Country Craft Creations. Need my glitter glue. Alright, and you know what? I think I'm going to turn this over so I can see that score line. Get it lined up the way I want to. So we want to put it just outside the score line. See why I needed wiggle? Boy, if I had score tape, it'd already be stuck and I'd be reaching for undo. I cannot do a project without undo. It makes me too nervous. So, if y'all haven't tried that, it's a miracle in a bottle. Miracle, miracle, miracle. This stuff right here, if you know how score tape grabs, it grabs, right? But this not only removes it, but once it's dry, you can still use that score tape. This is a miracle in a bottle. It'll save you so much money. All right, saves me so much money. I don't know about you. All right, so there we now have our 3 pieces together, okay? It's starting to look like it could be something when it grows up. All right. Now I got to remember which one was my skinny one. All right, so this is my skinny one. And I want the opening that we cut out to go to the right-hand side. And I want it to go all the way over to the score line. So I'm lining that up. I'm trying to get it straight at the top and at the bottom. I'm leaving my 1/8 of an inch gap over on the left-hand side. And what I do is I use my whole arm and I hold it down. And I lift up my end and I sneak off my score tape backing. Right? I got to sneak up on score tape or it'll win every time. All right. Got that edge down. All right. Got room to wiggle it around a little bit. Make sure it's where I want it. And then pull off the rest of my tape. Ta-da! Yeah, this ain't my first rodeo, y'all. I've done that before. I've screwed that up before. That's what I've done. This edge I'm cool with because boom, boom, boom. Okay? Look at that. All right. So, we kind of got a file folder style pocket going on here. We got a little bit of a shortage over here on purpose. We're going to put us a flappy page here, and I think I'm also going to put a flappy page here. And, by the way, I am going to be using different color cardstock. Only the outside of this thing is going to be this green color. It's not quite the color of this turquoise, but I thought it was or aqua or whatever that is. It blends well enough, and there's greens in the other papers. So, I'm not using that on it. But anyway, I think we're going to be just fine right there. This is going to be covered up. Yeah, I didn't tell y'all this part. Here's my brilliant idea to reinforce my spines. And brilliant might have been a little sarcastic there. I'm planning to use a decorative duct tape to reinforce those. And I'm thinking maybe a silver color. Like, remember those diners that were like those silver bullet trailer thingies? I don't remember what those are called. It'll come to me in the middle of the night. Anyway, I'm thinking maybe a silver reflective tape. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I thought about reinforcing it with Tyvek. I thought about using craft tacks, just for my bindings. But I didn't know who might have that. So I thought, okay, they may not have craft tacks. They may not have Tyvek on hand. So what why don't I use something that everybody can get their hands on pretty easily? And just about all the dollar stores, Walmart, the big box stores like Big Lots, or shoot, even Lowe's and Home Depot, a lot of places are carrying that decorative duct tape now. So I thought just about anybody can get their hands on some duct tape. So I'm going to try and use that. But I do digress. All right. So let's put the rest of these things down. Shut me up. All right. Good luck with that. This is the one that is 7 by 10. It was 7 by 10. We have folded it under, so now in, all practical purposes, it's 7 by 9. And we're going to line that up right there. And this time I want the opening to go towards the outside. Okay? So line it up just inside your score line. Okay? I'm doing my arm trick again, y'all. You can do it however works for you, but I like my little arm trick here. And then I also like the only pull the tape off a little bit trick, just in case anything wiggles. That just makes me feel more confident with what I'm doing. Maybe I should scoot that down where you can see it better. All right, so there's our top. Then I can relax a little bit, exhale. Woohoo, be careful though. And do the bottom. All right, so there's that pocket. So, and I've also left this one open because I'm pretty sure I'm going to put a page flap here. I plan on putting a page flap there. This one, I'm not putting anything on, and that's why it has this third side down. Okay? So, this one you can just go ahead, line it up inside your score line, and put the whole thing down. Line it up along that outside edge. And I'm going to try and be really sneaky. Pull that one part way off. And pull this one all the way off. And start with that corner. Can y'all even see that? Jeez, I should pay attention. And then just bring that right on down inside my score line. And pull off the bottom. Alright, now I am going to continue designing or constructing pages, and once I have the measurements and decide what I'm going to put where, I will pop back on and I will give you those next dimensions and keep you updated. But just to reiterate right now what we have, front and back covers, flappy-do kind of. Okay? I may round these edges. And you see I have a little overhang right there. I don't know if you can see that, but my pocket sticks out a little bit further than my front page did. So here I go with my X-Acto knife, and I am just going to take that down so that it's flush, just like so. And there's a teeny bit right there too. So let's get rid of that right now. Let's check this side. Looks better. Maybe just a sliver right there. Barely. Alright. I like it. I like it a lot. So I'm thinking about rounding the corners, but I'm not sure how that would look here. You know what? I don't think that would look good there. So I'm going to leave them pointy. And I've got it flipped wrong side up. There we go. All right. So there's our back and our front and our flap. Boom, boom, boom. All right. See y'all same place in just a few minutes. Oops. One more little update before I move on to the pages in the next color of cardstock. After looking at it, I decided that this pocket wasn't going to be of any use if it wasn't closed, since this is going to be on the outside. So what I've done is I took a strip of paper that's 2 inches wide by 9 inches, length of our page, and I've scored it at 1.5, or I guess half if you're doing it that direction, either way. And I put my score tape on the outside because it's going to attach to that side of the flap. So let's just fold that back. Again, this was 2 inches by 9 inches and scored it 1/2 inch along one of the long edges. Okay. Just like so. Oh, and I rounded the corners. I just used my little crocodile chomper and did a 1/4 inch round on there. And then I'm probably going to use 1 or 2 magnets. We'll have to see as I go. And I always just like to slide that in first, make sure everything's lining up. I'm going to flip it over because I'm going to do my cheating trick, and I'm just going to reach in there and pull off the back of my score tape. Maybe I will. Alright. Make sure it's not sticking out top or bottom. Make sure it's all the way in. And just push that. Looked a little crooked. Alright, it's okay. Let's have a look. It's fine. And then, of course, we got to activate that score tape, so we burnish, burnish, burnish. Alright. There we go. So now we have like a little envelope on the Flappy Doo. And I like that. It does stick out there, though. Okay, so now I'm going to show y'all how to use undo, because I'm going to see if I can't push that in a little bit. So grab your undo if you have it. If you don't, you leave it just like that. But see how, okay, so down here at the bottom, I don't know if you can see what I'm saying. It looks pretty flush here. But once you get to this end, it's got like a 1/16 of an inch sticking out, which is no big deal. I mean, seriously, I could live with that if I had to, but I may not have to. So here's how you use this undo. Alright, just let it get wet and boom. Your score tape just lets go. You probably just heard that even. And now you think, oh, but you're ruining your paper. Nope. I'm really not even ruining my paper because this dries and it doesn't stain and life is good. Alright, so let me get the lid on because I'm sure from the smell of that it's going to evaporate very quickly. So, oops, I didn't get, and see, it undid that score tape as well. Alright, so now when this dries, my tape will work just fine. I promise you. And I actually kind of like to stick it back in there before it's dry so I can position it better. Alright, that's better. Now, it just needs to dry a little bit more. See how it's just going away? Going away, going away. And now that thing is on there straight. Isn't it magic? I'm telling you, that is probably the best endorsement for undo they'll ever get, because boom, you saw it happen right here. Just needs to dry a little bit more and we are so golden. Saved my butt again, but I keep, alright y'all, I have got to clean this. I'm gonna get some baby wipes or something and clean that because I'm just ruining my papers. Thank goodness pattern paper is gonna go over this. I am just a slob. Alright, I'm gonna clean that up. And again, I'll be back with you as we go on to the pages. But I just thought I would catch you up with that so I can move on. It's just bowing a little bit. Alright, see you in a bit. Hello again. Okay, so I decided one more thing needs to be done, or maybe 2 more things need to be done before I put my inside pages on. I have cut them. I've got them ready to go. Okay. I'll go ahead and give you these measurements. Where's my pad? Here. Alright, so we've got one at 7.5 by 9. Alright, that's going to go over here on this side. And we're going to score it at 1/2 inch. Okay. So that makes it 7 wide instead of 7.5. And then the 9. Okay. This one we've got 9 by 7 3/8. Because remember, this one's just a little bit shorter. So we're doing that. Alright. Then the third one is cut at 6.5 by 7. And the 7 goes this way. And the 6.5 goes this way. But we score at 6 so that 1/2 inch goes in there. Alright, so we end up with a page that's 6 by 7. And that's going to go underneath this one. Alright. But before I start attaching them, I thought, wait a minute, what about my duct tape. And I was originally going to put duct tape inside and out, which I could still do because the miracle of undo. But I decided I like these colors together. I want to see that green up next to that peachy orangey color on the inside. So I don't want to cover it up with duct tape because I like the way that looks right there. Okay. I don't know. It just goes with the colors of the paper. See? Like, yeah, see what I mean? So I don't want to cover that up. But I still do want to reinforce with duct tape. So, because I'm going to have to trim right up against that edge because I don't want it to flap over, I just thought that trimming would be easier to do before these pages were in the way. So, if I'm going to put my duct tape on the outside, then I need to go ahead and mat my covers. So that's where I'm at right now. I cut this mat 3 3/4 by 8 3/4 because this area is 4 by 9 and I just wanted a border all the way around. And then I decided to do the same thing for the front and back covers. So each of these is 6 3/4 by 8 3/4. There's my front, here's my back. And I'm just going to adhere those now. And then I'm going to go put my duct tape on. Now wait till y'all see this. You're going to think I'm crazy, but I think it's going to be so fun. Look at this. Is that some funky stuff? It might be a little bit more 60s and this might be a little bit more 50s, but I don't know. I don't know, 50s or 60s. We're going to say late 50s, early 60s, and that way we can tie in this that looks kind of 60s to me. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to make you watch me put glue on paper, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to adhere my pages or my pattern paper to my front and back cover, and then I'm going to attempt to center my duct tape and let it lap over front and back and put that right on there. And that, I think that's just going to make it so funky and so cool. And let me get my papers down and I will show you the process of putting this down. Not that you can't figure that out. Maybe I'll put one down and let you watch the other, just in case. I can't imagine what you'd need to learn from that, but I'll just go ahead and do one on camera just in case somebody wants to see it. All right, be right back. All right, so I've got my papers adhered and I've put down my first duct tape on the binding there. So now let's do the second one. And of course, the hardest part is getting that thing straight, you know. Well, the hardest part might be finding the end of it. Okay, here we go. Here's the end of it. So I went ahead and I started outside of, you know what, I'm thinking if I turn this with this might help us get it straight. All right, because I've got my binding area centered within this 1-inch square. So you would think that if I got my tape centered, now let's make sure that this is laying straight. Okay, I didn't do this the first time, but it might help me get it straight. And even on front and back. All right, so that looks good there, and it gives me something to aim for down at the bottom. All right, yeah, you can't see it anyway. I would say about right there. All right, lay it down, lay it down, lay it down. And then all I did was I left it just like that and flipped it over. Easier said than done with the camera, huh? And I got my X-Acto blade. All right, we can turn this now. Okay. And I just went right along the edge very carefully and cut it off. Maybe. Didn't push hard enough. Okay. One little spot. There's always that one that doesn't want to let go. Okay, so there's that end. And flip her around. And do the other end. Whoops. Kind of dips in there in the middle. Alright. Cut that off. And then try and get rid of any little hangy overs right there. Right there. There we go. Alright, so. I love it. It is funky. Fun and funky. Alright. That is pretty snazzy. I don't know that it goes with the real vintage feel, but I like it anyway. Alright, so see, that's really going to reinforce your spine there. Nice, nice, nice. And now I'm debating whether or not I want to put it on that inside flap, but it really depends on what paper I put there. So, I believe we are now ready to go ahead and adhere our flappy doos. So on this piece, we're going to want to put our score tape on the inside of the fold. I've already done an angle cut on my corners, so I can just put this on the inside because it's adhering to the inside right there. And you want to center it up best that you can. And this is one of those where you got to hold your breath. Okay, now you see where my score tape went over the edge just a little bit? I don't care. Just fold it back onto itself so you don't have little sticky bits poking out there. Alright, get that centered. Fold it over and push it down. Alright, there's the top one down. And let's see. Now, on this one, we actually need to put tape on both sides. Because not only are we going to adhere it, but we're also going to close that end of the pocket. Because the pocket opening is going to be on this side. Okay. Now, if you didn't get your tape right on this to where it's sticking on the top, it would be sticking to the bottom side of your pocket, and you wouldn't want that. Wouldn't want that at all. Alright, so let's put score tape front and back here. And put this one on. It's a little trickier, but we'll get it. We'll get it, we'll get it. Okay, now let me think. Which would be easiest to put on first? I would say to put the inside on first. Think I can reach in there, hold it down, and pull that off? Let's see. Well, if I can get my tape backing off. Hold my breath. There it is. Now, the back side should be easy since it's already stuck down. So I say. Alright. And just a little bit of burnish, burnish, burnish. There's that next little bit. And you'll find that as we go, it just keeps getting sturdier and sturdier. I know there's probably a couple of you out there that's thinking you're doing an album with just cardstock with no chipboard. It's a folio, it's a soft cover, and it ends up being a lot more sturdy than you think it's going to. And we don't even have our pattern paper down on the inside yet, and already you can tell it's starting to feel substantial, like you actually have something going on. And now I've decided, remember how I was going to put this? Oh, man, I just keep making a mess. I think that's actually going to end up being our closure. if I can get it wiggled around right. I think we're going to do something probably magnetic, which means I got to remember to do that before I put my pattern paper. Oh, I can probably put it in there. I'll put a magnet. See, this is why it's probably best to, you know, follow me after I've done a project once instead of as I'm learning it. Oh, just kind of figure these things out as I go, because steps matter. The order in which you do things seriously matters, because we're going to need a magnet. And I could have put it under this pattern paper if I'd thought that far ahead, but I didn't think that far ahead. What's new? But it's okay, because we can still save it. And we can put it on the back side. But we're going to have to do it real soon. We might have to trim that just a little bit, because I don't think I want it angled. Okay, let's do it more like, oh yeah, it'll be okay. It'll be good. Might have to back it with something so that it's a little more substantial on this end where it's hanging out. And I need to put, since I don't have the picture that I want to put here yet, I think maybe I'll put a mat down right there or something. But anyway, we'll figure that out as we go. But there's where we are so far. Oh, you know, did I put the other page in? I didn't put the other page in. Goodness. Let's do this one too. What do you say? Might as well get them all in there right now. About to run out of tape. Never fear. You know there's another roll real close by. Always another roll of score tape close by. Don't think I'd start a project with only one roll of score tape. Goodness gracious, no. I get nervous if I get down to 5. All right. That's where I want that one to go. Try and hold it. And now hold it over there. Now hold your breath. Whew. All right. And just go pull off the back side. Don't worry, I can still get in there to put a magnet. The other end's open. We're good. And there it is. We are coming right along. This might be a good place to end this video. And then we'll go further on the next one. I have an idea for something on this side. Got an idea for on here. I haven't really designed the inside of this. I don't know yet what I'm doing, but don't worry, that's never stopped me before. All right. It's, woof, if I don't mess it up, it's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good so far. All right, like I said, I think I will go ahead and end this and make it part 1. I like the way that works. That's good. We might need some more flappy doos here and there. Man, maybe I should have put another one in there. I could put one here, but we did that over here. So I don't know. I'm going to have to think on it. I'll let you know. Ciao for now.